What if everything you've been taught about creating wealth is completely backwards? What if I told you that the very reason you're struggling financially isn't because you're not working hard enough, but because you've been speaking a language the universe simply doesn't understand? Has this ever happened to you? You work harder, put in longer hours, obsess over every financial decision, yet somehow, the more effort you exert, the further financial freedom seems to slip away. Meanwhile, you watch others who appear to effortlessly attract abundance into their lives, and you wonder what secret they've discovered that continues to elude you. The truth that most financial gurus won't tell you is startlingly simple. Money isn't meant to be chased, it's meant to be commanded. In the spiritual realm, where all material wealth originates, money behaves according to laws that are vastly different from what conventional wisdom teaches us. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. You see, the universe doesn't respond to hustle, struggle, or desperation. It responds to vibrational alignment and clear, authoritative commands. Money, in its purest essence, is simply energy, divine substance that flows, according to spiritual principles that most of us were never taught. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you interact with money forever. The shift I'm going to reveal isn't about working more hours or implementing complex financial strategies. It's about understanding that your words carry creative power that literally programs your financial reality. Every day, without realizing it, you're issuing commands to the invisible forces that shape your circumstances. When you say things like, "I can't afford this," or "money is so hard to come by," you're not just describing your situation. You're actually creating it through the power of your spoken word. But here's where it gets fascinating. Just as your words have been creating limitation, they can be used to command abundance with astonishing precision. There exists a specific frequency, a particular way of speaking, that money responds to immediately. When you learn to access this frequency, wealth stops being something you chase and becomes something that actively seeks you out. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful affirmations. This is about understanding the exact spiritual laws governing abundance and aligning your speech with divine authority rather than earthly anxiety. The people who seem to attract money effortlessly aren't lucky. They're aligned with these principles, whether consciously or unconsciously. What you're about to learn is the precise vibrational key that unlocks the treasury of the universe. A single, powerful sentence that carries such spiritual authority that it can completely transform your relationship with abundance. This powerful sentence acts as a spiritual key that unlocks doors most people spend their entire lives banging against. Think about your own experience with money for a moment. Does it feel like you're constantly running on a financial hamster wheel? The more you run, the more exhausted you become. Yet, somehow, you never actually get anywhere. This endless cycle of struggle is what happens when we misunderstand the fundamental nature of abundance. You exhaust yourself working longer hours. You feel that constant knot of anxiety in your stomach when bills arrive. You lie awake at night worried about the future. And despite all this effort and worry, financial freedom seems to drift further away rather than coming closer. Meanwhile, have you noticed how certain people seem to attract money, opportunities, and abundance with seemingly little effort? They don't appear stressed or desperate about their finances. Instead, they move through the world with a quiet certainty, and somehow the universe seems to rearrange itself to support them at every turn. If these principles of commanding abundance resonate with you, hit that subscribe button now. I share these powerful spiritual laws because they've transformed countless lives, and I don't want you to miss a single revelation that could be the key to your financial breakthrough. The hidden truth behind this stark contrast lies in a profound mindset shift that transforms your entire relationship with abundance. Most people approach money like desperate beggars, pleading, hoping, stressing, and struggling to receive what they need. But the transformation happens when you recognize yourself as a divine heir, someone who has a birthright to prosperity, and who speaks to the universe not from lack, but from spiritual authority. This revelation isn't just philosophical. It creates a fundamental shift at the energetic level. When you approach money from desperation, you actually repel it. The universe responds to your anxiety by giving you more experiences that justify that anxiety. Your financial struggles aren't happening to you, they're happening through you, manifesting as a direct response to the vibrational frequency you're broadcasting. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is someone who made this crucial transition from beggar to heir, from chasing to commanding, from uncertainty to absolute knowing. They discovered that abundance isn't something to be earned through endless toil, but something to be claimed through spiritual alignment. The impact of this shift cannot be overstated because it transforms your entire relationship with prosperity. Instead of waking up each morning with that familiar feeling of financial anxiety, you begin to move through your day with a deep, unshakable certainty that your supply is assured. Not because your bank account necessarily shows it yet, but because you understand the spiritual mechanics that govern how abundance actually flows. This journey from fear to certainty represents one of the most profound transformations a person can experience. When you truly grasp that you are the heir to infinite abundance, not the beggar hoping for scraps. You speak differently, you think differently, you make decisions differently, and most importantly, you feel different in your relationship with money. Now, I want to go even deeper into understanding exactly how this mindset shift works at the most practical level, because there's a specific vibrational frequency that money responds to, and understanding how to access this frequency changes everything about your financial experience. Write in the comments, "I am a divine heir to abundance," if you're ready to make this fundamental shift in how you relate to money and prosperity. When you begin to perceive money through this higher lens of understanding, a profound revelation emerges. Money isn't just physical currency or numbers in your bank account. It's pure spiritual substance, a form of energy that responds to very specific universal laws. This perspective completely transcends the conventional view that most people have been conditioned to accept, where money is seen as something scarce that must be earned through struggle, sacrifice, and endless effort. The hidden truth is that money, in its most fundamental essence, is simply energy moving in response to consciousness. Just as electricity flows along the path of least resistance, abundance flows toward those who understand its spiritual nature and align themselves with its movement rather than resisting it through fear, doubt, or limiting beliefs. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough, there's a profound understanding of this principle at work. Those who seem to magically attract wealth aren't lucky or privileged. They're simply working with the laws that govern how this spiritual substance moves rather than against them. They've discovered the underlying mechanics of manifestation that most people never learn. The journey from financial struggle to effortless abundance begins with this fundamental shift in perception. When you recognize money as spiritual energy rather than physical limitation, you stop trying to manipulate external circumstances and start working with the internal forces that actually create your financial reality. But here's where the revelation becomes truly transformative. The secret to financial abundance isn't in doing more, but in speaking differently. Most people have been taught that the path to wealth requires working harder, hustling more, sacrificing everything on the altar of effort. But this approach completely misunderstands how spiritual law actually operates. Your spoken word carries creative power that few people fully comprehend. Every declaration you make is actually a command to the spiritual substance that governs all visible manifestation. When you say things like, "I never have enough," or "money is so hard to come by," these aren't just descriptive statements. They're creative instructions that the universe faithfully fulfills through the law of vibration. The mindset shift that changes everything happens when you realize that money doesn't respond to effort. It responds to alignment. It doesn't care how hard you work or how many hours you put in. It only responds to the vibrational frequency you're broadcasting through your words, thoughts, and emotions. This understanding completely transforms your approach to creating abundance. Instead of exhausting yourself with more action, more struggle, and more sacrifice, you begin to focus on the quality of your declaration, speaking with the kind of spiritual authority that money cannot help but obey. The impact of this revelation ripples through every area of your life because it shifts your entire relationship with creation itself. You're no longer a worker trying to earn through labor, but a commander speaking into existence through divine decree. Every word that passes through your lips becomes a seed that will eventually grow into the circumstances of your life. Now, I'm going to reveal something truly extraordinary about the precise vibrational frequency that money responds to most powerfully. A specific way of speaking that transforms you from someone who chases prosperity to someone who magnetizes it effortlessly. Write in the comments, "I command abundance through my words," if you're beginning to feel this profound shift in understanding how money actually works. This vibrational frequency I'm speaking about is active in your life right now, whether you're conscious of it or not. Every single day, you're issuing commands to the universe through your words, thoughts, and emotional vibrations. These aren't just casual expressions or innocent descriptions of your circumstances. They're powerful creative instructions that set universal law into motion with mathematical precision. When you make statements like, "I can't afford this," "Money is always tight," or "I'm always broke," you're not simply describing your current financial situation. You're actually programming your future reality. The universe, operating on perfect spiritual law, doesn't judge whether these commands serve your highest good. It simply responds with unwavering loyalty to the vibrational instructions you're broadcasting. This revelation explains the hidden mechanism behind why so many people remain trapped in financial limitation despite their best efforts to break free. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle lies a consistent pattern of unconscious commands that the universe faithfully fulfills. Your current money situation isn't random or accidental. It's the direct manifestation of the words you've been speaking, often without realizing their creative power. The journey from lack to abundance begins when you become conscious of this mechanism and take full responsibility for the commands you're issuing moment by moment. This isn't about blame, but about profound empowerment. If you've unknowingly created limitation through unconscious speaking, imagine what you can consciously create through deliberate declaration. But here's where the transformation becomes truly extraordinary. Just as limiting words create limitation in your experience, empowered speech creates abundance with the same perfect precision. There exists a specific way of speaking, a particular spiritual frequency that money responds to immediately and unfailingly. When you learn to access this frequency through conscious command, something remarkable happens in your financial reality. Money stops being something you chase and becomes something that actively seeks you out. Opportunities begin finding you rather than you having to hunt them down. Resources start appearing from unexpected sources. And the entire dynamic between you and prosperity fundamentally shifts from one of desperate pursuit to magnetic attraction. This profound mindset revolution explains why some individuals seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle despite working twice as hard. It's not about luck, privilege, or even strategy. It's about understanding that money responds to vibrational alignment rather than physical effort. Those who have discovered this truth speak a different language to the universe, not the language of lack and limitation, but the language of abundance and authority. The impact of this understanding cannot be overstated because it means your financial transformation doesn't require years of struggle or complex strategies. It requires a fundamental shift in how you communicate with the spiritual substance that governs all visible manifestation. When you speak with certainty rather than doubt, with authority rather than anxiety, with the conviction of someone who knows their words carry creative power, the universe has no choice but to respond in kind. Now, I'm going to reveal exactly how to access this money-responsive frequency through a specific pattern of speech that transforms you from someone who begs for prosperity to someone who commands it as your divine right. Write in the comments, "I'm awakening to the power of my words," if you're beginning to recognize how your spoken declarations have been creating your financial reality all along. The access to this abundance-commanding frequency isn't about positive thinking or empty affirmations that you repeat while secretly doubting their truth. What I'm revealing goes far deeper than the surface-level manifestation techniques that have become popularized in recent years. There are precise spiritual laws governing abundance that operate with the same consistency and reliability as the law of gravity or any other natural force in our universe. These laws don't care about your background, your education level, or your current bank balance. They don't favor some people over others or operate randomly. They respond with mathematical precision to alignment rather than effort, to vibration rather than action. When you understand how to work with these laws instead of unknowingly fighting against them, your entire financial reality begins to shift in ways that seem almost miraculous to those who don't understand the mechanics at work. The transformation occurs when you realize that these spiritual principles are just as consistent as physical ones. Just as you wouldn't try to defy gravity by jumping off a building, it makes no sense to struggle against the laws that govern how abundance flows. Your breakthrough happens when you stop swimming against the current and begin moving in harmony with the natural flow of universal abundance. Behind the scenes of what appears to be a chaotic, unpredictable world lies perfect divine order operating through these unwavering principles. The revelation that changes everything is understanding that your relationship with these laws determines your financial experience far more than your education, your connections, or even your actions. This mindset shift explains why certain individuals seem to effortlessly attract wealth, opportunities, and resources, while others struggle despite working twice as hard. These people aren't lucky. They're aligned. Luck implies randomness, chance, something beyond your control. But the truth is far more empowering. Those who consistently experience financial abundance have simply discovered, either consciously or unconsciously, how to speak the language that money understands. Subscribe to join this community of conscious creators who understand that prosperity isn't something you chase, it's something you command. Each video I share contains another piece of this divine puzzle that unlocks the abundant life you deserve. They've learned to issue clear, uncompromising commands to the spiritual substance that governs all visible manifestation. They approach money not as something to be chased or earned through struggle, but as something that naturally responds to their aligned vibration. The impact of this understanding is profound because it moves you from the realm of hoping and wishing to the realm of knowing and commanding. The hidden truth that most financial teachers never reveal is that money itself has a consciousness, not in the human sense, but as intelligent energy that responds to specific vibrational cues. When you learn to broadcast these cues consistently through your speech, thoughts, and feelings, money cannot help but be drawn to you through the perfect operation of spiritual law. This journey from struggle to flow represents one of the most profound shifts you can make in your relationship with abundance. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to make things happen through force, you begin to create your financial reality through alignment with the fundamental laws that govern how prosperity moves throughout the universe. Now, I'm going to reveal the exact vibrational pattern that acts as a key to unlock these spiritual laws, a specific way of speaking that transforms you from someone fighting against the current to someone flowing effortlessly with the abundant stream of divine supply. Write in the comments, "I'm aligning with spiritual law," if you're ready to stop struggling against these principles and start working with them to create the financial reality you truly desire. This vibrational pattern I'm describing isn't complex or difficult to access. It's astonishingly simple. The most profound spiritual truths often are. What if I told you that a single specific sentence spoken with the right understanding and authority could completely transform your entire financial vibration. Not a complex formula, not years of affirmations, not a lifetime of positive thinking. One sentence that carries such precise frequency that it can rewire your relationship with abundance at the deepest level. This revelation challenges everything most people believe about what it takes to create financial transformation. We've been conditioned to think that significant change requires tremendous effort, complex strategies, or years of gradual progress. But the truth is that consciousness can shift in an instant when the right vibrational key unlocks the door to a new level of understanding. When you discover this sentence and learn to speak it with the authority of someone who knows their words carry divine power, something remarkable happens in both your inner and outer world. The sentence itself is like a spiritual technology designed to align you instantly with the frequency that money naturally responds to. It's not about convincing yourself of something untrue. It's about declaring what is already true on the spiritual plane and commanding it to manifest in your physical experience. This journey from financial struggle to abundance often hinges on this single pivot point, the moment when you discover how to speak with the kind of authority that the universe recognizes and responds to immediately. Behind the scenes of what appears to be random chance or complex economic forces, there's a simple vibrational mechanism at work that you can access through conscious declaration. But to fully utilize this power, you must first understand a fundamental truth about how reality operates. Every time you open your mouth, you're not just making sounds or expressing thoughts. You're issuing commands to invisible forces that shape your reality. The universe isn't casual or indifferent to your speech. It's constantly listening with perfect attention, waiting for your tongue to issue clear and uncompromising decrees. This might sound mystical, but it's actually incredibly practical. Think about the most financially successful people you know or have heard about. Listen carefully to how they speak about money, opportunities, and their future. They don't say things like, "I hope this works out," or "maybe someday I'll be able to afford that." They speak with certainty, with authority, as if their words carry weight in the invisible realm. And they do. The revelation that transforms everything is recognizing that your voice isn't just for communication with other people. It's your primary tool for communicating with the substance of the universe itself. Every declaration you make is like signing a spiritual contract with creation. When you say, "I never have enough," you're not just describing your experience. You're ordering more of the same limitation. The mindset shift happens when you realize that if your negative declarations have been manifesting with such precision, your aligned declarations will manifest with the same perfect reliability. The same mechanism that has been creating limitation can be used to create abundance when you understand how to speak the language that prosperity understands. Now, let me share with you what happens in the invisible realm when you begin to speak with the kind of spiritual authority that money naturally responds to, the exact mechanism through which your words transform into your tangible financial reality. Write in the comments, "My words shape my reality," if you're beginning to grasp just how powerful your daily declarations are in creating your financial experience. When you closely observe the language patterns of truly successful individuals, you'll notice something remarkable about how they communicate regarding wealth and opportunity. They simply don't speak the same way as those who struggle financially. This distinction isn't superficial. It reveals a profound understanding of how reality responds to our declarations. Successful people never use phrases like, "I hope things work out," or "maybe someday I'll be able to afford that." These expressions of uncertainty carry a vibrational frequency that the universe faithfully mirrors back as uncertain results. Instead, those who have mastered the relationship with abundance speak with absolute certainty and unwavering authority. They make clear, direct statements about their financial future as if it's already established fact rather than wishful thinking. This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's a sophisticated understanding of how spiritual law operates. They've discovered, either consciously or intuitively, that tentative language creates tentative results, while authoritative declarations create definitive outcomes. The transformation in your financial reality begins when you start adopting this same pattern of speech, not as a technique or affirmation that you repeat while secretly doubting, but as an expression of your growing understanding that your words literally program the matrix of creation. Behind the scenes of what appears to be random economic forces, your declarations are setting powerful mechanisms into motion that will inevitably manifest as your physical experience. This revelation becomes even more profound when you understand the divine authority that flows through your spoken word. Every declaration you make isn't just an expression of thought. It's equivalent to signing a spiritual contract with the universe. This contract isn't optional or subject to negotiation. The universe, operating on perfect cosmic law, has no choice but to fulfill your spoken instructions with mathematical precision. When you truly grasp this principle, it completely transforms your relationship with speaking. You begin to approach your daily vocabulary with the same careful attention a master craftsman brings to their tools, understanding that casual, unconscious speech patterns can create results that seem to happen to you rather than through you. The mindset shift happens when you realize that you're not a helpless victim of circumstances, but a powerful creator who has been unknowingly programming limitation. Through unconscious speech, the journey from financial struggle to abundance often requires nothing more than becoming aware of and deliberately changing the contractual agreements you've been making with the universe through your words. Every time you say, "I can't afford this," or "money is so hard to come by," you're not just describing your current situation. You're issuing binding instructions for the universe to continue creating more of the same limitation in your experience. The hidden truth that changes everything is that the universe doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you declare. It only responds to what you broadcast vibrationally through your words and the emotional energy behind them. This explains why so many people remain trapped in financial struggles despite their best intentions and efforts. They're unknowingly continuing to sign spiritual contracts for the very limitations they're trying to overcome. Now, I want to reveal exactly what happens in the spiritual realm when you begin to speak with true divine authority, how your words literally reorganize the substance of creation to manifest as your physical, financial reality. Write in the comments, "I speak with divine authority," if you're ready to start consciously using the power of your declarations to transform your financial experience rather than unconsciously limiting it. When you fully grasp the mechanics of how your declarations operate, a startling truth emerges. Those casual statements like, "I never have enough money," or "I can't afford this," aren't just innocent descriptions of your current circumstances. They're literally operating as orders to the universe, precise commands that the spiritual substance of creation must fulfill with perfect obedience. This isn't metaphorical or philosophical. It's the actual mechanism through which your financial reality takes shape moment by moment. The universe doesn't filter your declarations through a lens of what would be most beneficial for you. It doesn't distinguish between positive or negative commands. It simply responds with unwavering loyalty to whatever vibrational instruction you consistently broadcast. When you say, "Money is always tight," the universe doesn't interpret this as a temporary description of your current situation. It receives it as a direct command to ensure that money remains tight in your experience. This revelation explains why so many well-intentioned efforts to improve financial circumstances often fail to produce lasting results. Behind the scenes of what appears to be stubborn external conditions is actually the perfect fulfillment of unconscious commands that continue running in the background of your awareness. The universe isn't working against you. It's working with impeccable precision to give you exactly what you're ordering through your habitual speech patterns. The mindset transformation that changes everything happens when you realize that your current financial situation isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. Every struggle, every limitation, every moment of lack you've experienced has been the direct result of commands you've unknowingly issued through your words, thoughts, and emotional vibrations. This isn't about blame or guilt. It's about reclaiming your power as a conscious creator rather than remaining a victim of seemingly random circumstances. The journey from financial struggle to abundance begins with this fundamental shift in understanding. If your current reality is being created through you rather than happening to you, then you have far more control over your prosperity than you ever imagined. Every financial challenge you've faced hasn't been punishment or bad luck. It's been the faithful manifestation of instructions you've been broadcasting without realizing their creative power. This hidden truth completely reorients your relationship with your financial circumstances. Instead of looking outward for solutions or blaming external factors for your struggles, you begin looking inward at the quality and nature of the commands you've been issuing. The transformation happens when you recognize that if limiting declarations have manifested with such precision, then abundant declarations will manifest with the same perfect reliability when spoken with understanding and conviction. The impact of this revelation ripples through every aspect of your life, because it shifts you from a position of powerlessness to one of tremendous creative authority. You're not at the mercy of economic conditions, market fluctuations, or bad luck. You're actually the author of your financial story through the precise commands you issue with your daily speech. This understanding doesn't just change your words, it fundamentally alters how you perceive your relationship with the world around you. Now let me reveal how to consciously reprogram these unconscious commands, how to replace the limiting instructions you've been unknowingly issuing with declarations of abundance that the universe must fulfill with the same mathematical precision. Write in the comments, "I create my financial reality," if you're beginning to recognize how your current money situation has been manifesting through your own unconscious commands rather than happening randomly to you. The reprogramming process begins with understanding a mystery that has puzzled humanity for generations: why abundance seems to actively avoid some people despite their best efforts to attract it. Have you ever wondered why certain opportunities seem to pass you by? Why financial ease feels just out of reach no matter what strategies you implement? Why money itself seems to have a personality that's playing hard to get in your particular experience? Most people live their entire lives trapped in this frustrating dynamic, constantly working harder, implementing new financial strategies, reading more books on wealth creation. Yet, somehow, abundance continues to maintain its distance. This creates a profound sense of confusion, because on the surface, they're doing everything right. They're putting in the effort, making the sacrifices, following the conventional wisdom about wealth creation. But the revelation that changes everything is discovering that the answer has never been in external strategies or techniques. The solution to this mystery lies in something far more fundamental: their daily dialogue with the universe. Behind the scenes of what appears to be random bad luck or challenging circumstances is actually a pattern of mixed signals and fear-based commands that the universe is faithfully fulfilling through the law of vibration. When you examine your own relationship with abundance, you'll likely discover that you've been sending profoundly mixed messages to the universe. In one moment, you affirm that abundance is flowing to you, and in the next, you worry about bills or complain about prices. You declare that opportunities are coming, then immediately doubt whether you deserve them. You set financial goals while simultaneously harboring subconscious beliefs about money being scarce or difficult to obtain. The transformation begins when you recognize that these mixed signals create mixed results. The universe doesn't prioritize your positive statements over your negative ones. It responds to the overall vibrational frequency you're broadcasting. This explains why affirmations alone often fail to create lasting change. If you're declaring abundance for 5 minutes a day, but speaking lack for the remaining 23 hours and 55 minutes, the predominant frequency you're broadcasting is still limitation. But here's where the journey takes an empowering turn. Once you understand that the universe responds to your words with mathematical precision, not randomly or capriciously, changing your financial reality becomes as simple as changing your spiritual vocabulary. This doesn't mean adopting superficial positive thinking or pretending limitations don't exist. It means fundamentally transforming the vibrational instructions you're sending through conscious, deliberate speech. This mindset shift represents the transition from unconscious creation to conscious command. Instead of accidentally programming limitation through casual complaints and worried statements, you begin deliberately programming abundance through clear, authoritative declarations. The same mechanism that has been faithfully manifesting your current circumstances can be redirected to create the prosperity you truly desire, simply by changing the words you consistently speak. The impact of this transformation extends far beyond just your financial situation. It ripples through every area of your life because it shifts how you relate to creation itself. You move from feeling like a victim of random circumstances to recognizing yourself as a powerful creator who is constantly instructing the universe through every word you speak. Now, let me share with you the exact language pattern that allows you to access this abundant frequency, the specific way of speaking that transforms you from someone who pushes against limitation to someone who commands prosperity with unwavering authority. Write in the comments, "I'm transforming my spiritual vocabulary," if you're ready to consciously change the commands you're issuing to the universe through your daily speech. This language pattern I'm about to share with you connects directly to one of the most fundamental distinctions between those who struggle financially and those who experience consistent abundance. Behind every significant financial breakthrough, there's someone who made a crucial transition in how they communicate with the universe. They learned to speak the language that abundance understands, issuing commands from a place of spiritual authority rather than earthly desperation. The energy behind your words matters just as much as the words themselves. When you speak from desperation, that urgent, anxious energy of needing money to arrive quickly before something bad happens, you're actually broadcasting a frequency of lack that the universe faithfully mirrors back to you as more situations that justify that desperate feeling. This creates a frustrating cycle where the harder you try to escape financial pressure, the more of it you seem to experience. The revelation that transforms everything is recognizing that money doesn't respond to need, it responds to alignment. It doesn't flow toward desperation, it flows toward certainty. This mindset shift represents one of the most profound transformations you can make in your relationship with abundance. The same words spoken from different energetic foundations create completely different results. Money comes to me easily, spoken from anxiety, creates very different outcomes than the same phrase spoken from absolute knowing. This journey from earthly desperation to spiritual authority explains why some people seem to effortlessly command prosperity, while others chase it endlessly without ever quite catching it. Your mindset literally determines whether you're positioned as someone who begs for financial crumbs or someone who authoritatively calls forth their divine inheritance. The universe responds accordingly to whichever energetic position you consistently broadcast. The transformation happens when you make a profound inner commitment to stop approaching abundance as a beggar and start commanding it as your divine right. This isn't about arrogance or entitlement. It's about aligning yourself with spiritual truth rather than earthly appearance. It's about recognizing that lack is the illusion and abundance is the reality on the spiritual plane where all manifestation begins. Making this commitment to command abundance rather than beg for it represents a fundamental shift in consciousness that opens every concealed doorway of abundance in your life. This doesn't mean you'll never experience financial challenges, but it completely transforms how you relate to those challenges when they arise. Instead of falling back into patterns of worry and anxiety, you meet every situation from a position of spiritual certainty that transcends physical circumstances. Behind the scenes of this transformation is a recognition that the universe operates on decree, not request. Throughout spiritual teachings, across traditions, we find this truth expressed. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Notice what this doesn't say. It doesn't say you need to earn it, deserve it, or prove yourself worthy through struggle. It simply says, you must decree it with the authority of someone who knows their words carry divine power. This revelation completely reframes how you approach the manifestation process. You're not asking for favor from a reluctant universe. You're commanding the manifestation of what already exists in spiritual substance, waiting for your authoritative word to bring it into physical form. Now, let me show you how to access this decree consciousness through a specific sentence that carries the exact vibrational frequency that abundance responds to most powerfully. Write in the comments, I decree my abundance, if you're ready to make this fundamental shift from begging to commanding, from hoping to knowing, from chasing to magnetically attracting prosperity into your experience. The specific sentence I'm about to share with you isn't something I created or invented. It's a spiritual key that has been hidden within ancient wisdom traditions for generations, carefully protected and passed down through those who understood its transformative power. This isn't just another affirmation or positive statement that you repeat mindlessly while your subconscious continues to doubt its truth. This is a precisely calibrated vibrational command that carries such specific frequency that it instructs infinite source and divine intelligence to open every concealed doorway of abundance in your life. The revelation of this sentence represents a pivotal moment in your journey from financial struggle to prosperity because it provides you with the exact key that unlocks the treasury of the universe. Throughout history, those who experienced sudden, seemingly miraculous financial breakthroughs often discovered this key, either through direct, spiritual insight or through the guidance of those who already understood these principles. Behind the scenes of what appears to be random chance or lucky breaks lies a specific vibrational frequency that was activated through spoken word. The universe operates very much like a vast computer system, and your words are the programming language through which you code your reality moment by moment. Most people have been unknowingly programming limitation, scarcity, and struggle without even realizing they were doing it. The transformation begins when you recognize that if you've been coding limitation, consciously or unconsciously, you can just as easily code abundance when you understand the correct syntax. Your words aren't just expressions of thought, they're literally programming instructions that the substance of the universe obediently follows. When you learn the proper vibrational code, the specific language pattern that abundance recognizes and responds to, everything shifts. This understanding explains why some people seem to experience financial breakthroughs overnight, while others struggle for years with the same strategies. It's not about techniques, education, or even opportunity. It's about whether you're broadcasting the correct vibrational frequency that allows abundance to find you effortlessly, rather than forcing you to chase it endlessly. The journey from struggle to flow often hinges on this single pivot point, the moment when you discover and begin using the correct programming language to communicate with the intelligence that governs prosperity. When you speak this sacred sentence with understanding and conviction, you're not just making sounds or expressing wishful thinking. You're literally issuing specific instructions to the creative substance of the universe. The hidden truth behind every financial transformation is that there's a precise vibrational pattern that preceded it, a specific way of speaking that aligned that person with the flow of divine abundance. What appears as luck, chance, or fortunate timing to outside observers is actually the perfect operation of spiritual law responding to aligned vibration. Now, I want to take you even deeper into understanding exactly how this sentence works at the energetic level, the specific mechanism through which these words rearrange the invisible substance of creation to manifest as your tangible financial reality. Write in the comments, I'm ready to receive the key, if you can. Feel yourself moving toward this profound vibrational shift that transforms your relationship with abundance forever. This mechanism of vibrational alignment becomes even clearer when you understand a fundamental truth about the nature of money itself. At its core, money isn't paper or metal or digital numbers on a screen. It's simply energy in physical form. And like all energy in the universe, it follows immutable natural laws. One of the most important of these laws is that energy always flows. toward the path of least resistance. This revelation transforms everything about how you approach creating financial abundance. Most people create tremendous resistance in their relationship with money through worry, doubt, complaint, and limitation-focused speech. They then wonder why prosperity seems to flow around them rather than to them, not realizing they've been unconsciously creating a vibrational barrier that diverts abundance away from their experience. The transformation begins when you recognize that speaking with understanding and conviction, with the authority of someone who knows their words carry divine power, actually transforms you into that path of least resistance. When you align your vibrational frequency with abundance through conscious declaration, you become like a clear channel through which prosperity can flow effortlessly, rather than a blocked passage that forces it to find another route. Behind the scenes of what appears to be financial struggle is almost always a pattern of resistance created through fear-based thinking and speaking. The journey from limitation to abundance often requires nothing more than removing this unconscious resistance through aligned declaration rather than adding more strategies, techniques, or frantic action. This mindset shift leads to perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this entire process: the complete reversal of your relationship with money. Once you begin speaking correctly, with the vibrational frequency that abundance naturally responds to, the entire dynamic between you and money shifts completely. Instead of you chasing money, money begins seeking you out. This isn't metaphorical or symbolic, it's a literal transformation in how prosperity flows into your life. Resources start finding you through unexpected channels. Opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere. People show up at precisely the right moment with exactly what you need. Circumstances that seem coincidental but are actually the perfect operation of spiritual law aligned to support your financial well-being. This dynamic shift explains why some people seem to effortlessly attract resources while others struggle despite working twice as hard. Those who have aligned themselves with the correct vibrational frequency don't have to chase prosperity. They've become magnetic to it through their conscious declarations. The universe literally rearranges itself to bring abundance to them rather than forcing them to pursue it endlessly. The impact of this reversal cannot be overstated because it completely transforms your emotional relationship with money. Instead of the constant anxiety, worry, and stress that comes from feeling like you're always one step behind financially, you begin to experience a deep sense of certainty and peace. You know that your supply is assured not because your external circumstances necessarily show it yet, but because you've aligned yourself with the spiritual laws that govern how abundance flows. Now, I want to explore exactly what happens in your subconscious mind when you begin speaking this sacred sentence, how it literally reprograms the deepest levels of your consciousness to become receptive to the abundance that has been trying to reach you all along. Write in the comments, "I'm becoming a magnet for money," if you can feel yourself shifting from someone who chases prosperity to someone who naturally attracts it through aligned vibration. What's truly fascinating about this shift in consciousness is how it begins to manifest in what most people would call miraculous experiences. Those who fully understand and apply this principle don't just experience occasional financial breakthroughs, they live in a constant state of what others might call supernatural provision. They regularly receive unexpected checks in the mail, surprise bonuses at work, sudden debt forgiveness, and opportunities that appear at precisely the right moment from seemingly nowhere. 2. The outside observer who doesn't understand the spiritual mechanics at work, these experiences appear as random luck or fortunate coincidences. But the truth is far more empowering. These aren't miracles in the sense of supernatural events that defy natural law. They're actually the perfect demonstration of spiritual law operating exactly as designed. When you align your vibrational frequency with abundance through conscious declaration, these miraculous provisions become the natural, expected outcome rather than occasional exceptions. The revelation that transforms everything is recognizing that what seems magical to those who don't understand these principles is simply the mathematical result of working with spiritual law rather than against it. Behind the scenes of every unexpected financial provision is someone who has learned to speak the language that abundance understands, issuing commands from spiritual authority rather than earthly anxiety. This explains why certain individuals seem to live in an entirely different financial reality than those around them, experiencing consistent provision that arrives through channels they couldn't have orchestrated themselves. They haven't been randomly selected for special treatment by the universe. They've simply discovered how to align themselves with the flow of divine abundance through their conscious declarations. The journey from occasional provision to consistent abundance represents one of the most profound transformations you can experience in your relationship with money. It completely shifts your emotional state from constant worry about how needs will be met to absolute certainty that your supply is assured through perfect spiritual law. Now, let me reveal something truly extraordinary about the specific sentence we've been discussing. This isn't just a theory or an interesting spiritual concept. It's a precise vibrational key that has been tested by time and proven by countless individuals who dared to speak it with conviction. Throughout history, those who discovered this sentence and used it consistently with absolute faith experienced a complete reversal in their financial circumstances. When spoken with understanding, with rhythmic repetition, with unwavering belief in its power, money literally stops being something that evades you and becomes something that actively pursues you. This isn't poetic language or metaphorical description. It's the actual experience of those who have aligned themselves with this specific frequency. Resources that once seemed just out of reach begin finding their way to you through unexpected channels. Opportunities that you couldn't have orchestrated yourself appear at precisely the right moment. The transformation happens because this sentence carries a vibrational signature that the universe instantly recognizes and responds to. It's like a specific code that unlocks doors in the invisible realm through which abundance can flow freely into your physical experience. When you speak it consistently, you're literally programming the matrix of creation to organize itself around your prosperity rather than your limitation. Now, I want to reveal what happens at the emotional level when you begin using this sacred sentence. How it completely transforms your inner relationship with abundance before any external circumstances have changed. Write in the comments, "I welcome divine provision," if you're ready to experience these so-called miracles of unexpected provision as your natural daily experience rather than rare exceptions. This emotional transformation is perhaps the most profound aspect of the entire journey from financial struggle to abundance. When you truly grasp this principle of vibrational alignment, your entire emotional relationship with money undergoes a fundamental shift. Think about how most people experience their connection with finances. They wake up each morning with that familiar knot of anxiety in their stomach, constantly wondering how they'll make ends meet, perpetually worrying about unexpected expenses, feeling like they're always one crisis away from disaster. This constant state of financial anxiety creates a heavy emotional burden that affects every area of life. It strains relationships, impacts physical health, limits creativity, and creates a persistent background stress that prevents true peace of mind. But here's the revelation that changes everything. When you begin speaking this sacred sentence with understanding and conviction, this anxiety is gradually replaced by something far more powerful: divine certainty. This isn't just positive thinking or temporary confidence. It's a deep, unshakable knowing that your supply is assured because you've aligned yourself with the laws that govern abundance. Behind the scenes of what appears to be a chaotic, unpredictable financial world, there are precise, immutable spiritual principles operating with perfect reliability. When you align yourself with these principles through conscious declaration, you begin to experience the kind of certainty that transcends physical circumstances. The transformation happens at the deepest level of your being. Even before external conditions change, you begin to feel different in your relationship with money. The constant worry about how prosperity will come gives way to absolute faith that it must come through the perfect operation of spiritual law. This shift in consciousness creates a profound sense of peace that most people rarely experience in their financial lives. What most people don't realize is that their financial anxiety isn't actually about money at all. It's about not understanding how the universe actually operates. Most live their entire lives trapped in fear about having enough, constantly stressed about unexpected expenses, perpetually worried about their financial future. But this anxiety stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about the nature of abundance. When you recognize that wealth isn't random, accidental, or dependent on lucky breaks, that it's vibrational and responds with mathematical precision to the frequency you're broadcasting, everything changes. Your anxiety begins to dissolve, not because your external circumstances have necessarily transformed yet, but because you understand the mechanism through which abundance flows. You recognize that you're not at the mercy of economic conditions or market fluctuations. You're working with spiritual laws that transcend physical limitations. The journey from anxiety to certainty represents one of the most liberating shifts you can experience in your relationship with money. Instead of living in constant fear about the future, you begin moving through your financial life with a deep sense of trust in the perfect operation of spiritual law. This doesn't mean you'll never face challenges, but it completely transforms how you relate to those challenges when they arise. Now, I want to explore the specific cosmic laws that govern this entire process, the precise spiritual principles that explain why this particular sentence carries such transformative power in your financial reality. Write in the comments, "I choose divine certainty over anxiety," if you can feel yourself beginning to shift from financial fear to unshakable faith in your abundant supply. These cosmic laws we've been exploring aren't random, capricious, or selective in who they work for. Behind what appears to be a chaotic, unpredictable world lies perfect divine order operating through precise, immutable laws that govern every aspect of creation. The universe isn't ruled by luck, chance, or random circumstances as most people believe. It operates with mathematical precision according to spiritual principles that are just as reliable and consistent as gravity or any other natural force. This revelation completely transforms how you view your financial circumstances. When you understand that there's nothing random about your experience of abundance or limitation, that every aspect of your prosperity is being created through unwavering spiritual law, you stop feeling like a victim of external conditions and start recognizing the incredible creative power you possess. The same law that manifests limitation when you speak from fear will manifest abundance when you speak from faith with the exact same reliability. The same mechanism that creates financial struggle when you declare lack will create prosperity when you declare sufficiency. The universe doesn't play favorites or operate inconsistently. It responds with perfect precision to the vibrational frequency you're broadcasting through your words and the feeling behind them. Behind the scenes of what appears to be financial chaos is actually perfect order operating through these cosmic principles. The journey from struggle to abundance often requires nothing more than aligning yourself with these laws rather than unknowingly fighting against them. When you understand that wealth isn't random but vibrational, you begin to approach your financial life with a completely different mindset, one of deliberate creation rather than hopeful reaction. This understanding shifts your entire approach to life in the most profound way, from feeling like a powerless victim of circumstances to recognizing yourself as a conscious co-creator with the universe. You're not at the mercy of economic conditions, market fluctuations, or other people's decisions. You're actively programming your reality through every word you speak and every declaration you make. The transformation happens when you realize that every statement that passes through your lips is literally setting spiritual law into motion with the same precision that typing commands into a computer sets technological processes into action. You're not hoping that prosperity might find you. You're consciously creating it through aligned speech and vibration. This mindset shift explains why certain individuals seem to live in an entirely different reality than those around them. They haven't been randomly selected for special treatment. They've simply discovered, either consciously or intuitively, how to work with these universal laws rather than against them. Every word they speak programs their reality in the direction of abundance rather than limitation. The impact of this revelation ripples through every area of your life because it shifts you from powerlessness to tremendous creative authority. You're not floating helplessly on the ocean of life. You're actually determining the direction of your journey through the precise commands you issue to the universe through your daily declarations. Now, I want to explore what happens in your physical experience when you make this shift from victim consciousness to creator consciousness. How your external world begins to reorganize itself in response to your aligned vibration. Write in the comments, "I am a conscious co-creator," if you're beginning to recognize the tremendous creative power you've possessed all along to shape your financial reality through spiritual law. This shift in consciousness manifests in how you physically move through the world. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to navigate life with a completely different energy than those around them? People who live in divine certainty don't just think differently. They literally move through their daily experience with a distinctive presence that sets them apart from the crowd. They make decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, approach opportunities with confidence rather than hesitation, and speak about their future with absolute certainty rather than hopeful speculation. This transformation in how you operate in the physical world happens naturally as you align yourself with the laws of prosperity through conscious declaration. You begin carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of VO. Someone who knows their supply is assured through spiritual law rather than the anxious energy of someone constantly worried about having enough. Your entire demeanor shifts from hesitation to certainty, from caution to peaceful authority. Behind the scenes of this outward transformation is a profound inner knowing that transcends physical circumstances. Those who live in this state of divine certainty don't deny challenges when they arise. They simply view them differently. Instead of seeing financial obstacles as proof that abundance is elusive, they recognize these situations as opportunities to demonstrate their spiritual authority through aligned declaration. They meet every circumstance from the unshakable foundation of knowing rather than the shifting sands of hoping. The journey from fear-based living to faith-based living represents one of the most visible manifestations of this consciousness shift. You begin interacting with others differently, approaching opportunities differently, and navigating challenges differently, not through forced positive thinking, but through genuine alignment with spiritual truth that naturally expresses itself in every aspect of your being. This transformation in mindset creates ripple effects that touch every area of your life. When you're no longer operating from a place of financial fear and scarcity, you make fundamentally better decisions across the board. Think about how many choices in life are made from fear rather than faith, from worry about lack rather than certainty of abundance. These fear-based decisions almost always lead to limited results and missed opportunities. When you shift to making decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, you begin taking calculated risks that lead to greater rewards. You stop clinging desperately to what you have out of fear of loss and start moving confidently toward greater expansion. You release the death grip of anxiety that keeps you trapped in limitation and begin flowing with the natural current of prosperity that has been trying to reach you all along. This mindset revolution explains why certain individuals seem to consistently attract remarkable opportunities while others miss them entirely. When you're vibrating at the frequency of lack and limitation, you literally become blind to possibilities that are right in front of you. The same opportunity can present itself to two different people, and only the one who's aligned with abundance will recognize and seize it. Now, I want to reveal something truly extraordinary about how this alignment with divine law transforms your relationship with the entire physical world, how it shifts you from swimming against the current to flowing effortlessly with the abundant stream of universal supply. Write in the comments, "I'm making decisions from abundance," if you can feel yourself beginning to shift from scarcity-based thinking to the kind of abundance consciousness that naturally attracts greater prosperity. This alignment with spiritual law, rather than human opinion, represents one of the most profound shifts you can make in your consciousness. The hidden truth is that the universe has been patiently waiting for you to step into spiritual maturity, to stop begging and start commanding, to stop worrying and start declaring, to stop reacting and start creating. Most people spend their entire lives living according to collective human beliefs about limitation, scarcity, and struggle, rather than aligning themselves with the divine laws that transcend these earthly opinions. The moment you make this fundamental shift from orienting yourself around human concepts to aligning with eternal principles, everything in your external world begins to reorganize itself accordingly. This isn't magical thinking. It's the perfect operation of spiritual law responding to your aligned vibration. The universe doesn't respond to what others believe is possible for you. It responds exclusively to what you're broadcasting through your own conscious declarations. The revelation that transforms everything is recognizing that human opinions about money, prosperity, and abundance are often completely misaligned with spiritual truth. Collective consciousness is saturated with beliefs about limitation that have no foundation in divine law. When you free yourself from these limiting perspectives and begin speaking from truth rather than opinion, you create an entirely different experience of reality. This journey from human perspective to divine alignment represents a pivotal transformation in your relationship with prosperity. Instead of being influenced by what others believe about money or economic conditions, you begin orienting yourself exclusively around the unchanging spiritual laws that govern abundance. Your declarations come from eternal truth rather than temporary appearances, from divine authority rather than human limitation. Now, to fully understand the power of this sacred sentence we've been discussing, we need to explore the very foundation of creation itself. From the beginning of existence, when the universe was nothing but void and darkness, creation happened through sound. Let there be light. These weren't just words describing what happened after the fact. They were the actual creative mechanism through which reality came into existence. This isn't just ancient history or religious poetry. It's the blueprint for how all creation works, including the manifestation of your financial reality. Sound carries creative power beyond what most people can imagine. Words aren't just expressions of thought. They're literal vehicles for the creative force that shapes reality into being. The same divine authority that spoke galaxies into existence, that commanded light to pierce through darkness, that established the laws of physics and set the planets in their courses, has been gifted to you. Most people go through their entire lives treating their voice as mere decoration, as just a way to communicate thoughts or express emotions. But your voice is actually a creative force of immense power. Every single word you speak carries vibration, and every vibration issues precise instructions to the substance of the universe. When you understand this, when you really grasp the magnitude of what's happening every time you open your mouth, it changes everything about how you approach your financial reality. The transformation happens when you recognize that you're not just describing your circumstances through your speech. You're literally creating them through the same mechanism that brought the universe into being. Your word carries the same creative authority when aligned with spiritual truth. Write in the comments, "I speak with creative power," if you're beginning to grasp the tremendous creative force that flows through your voice when you align it with divine law rather than human opinion. This creative power that flows through your vocal cords isn't something reserved for spiritual masters or specially chosen individuals. It's your divine inheritance as a conscious being. The same authority that shaped the cosmos has been gifted to you, not as a distant philosophical concept, but as a practical, usable force that you access every time you speak. Most people never realize the tremendous creative potential they possess simply through the words they choose to declare each day. When you truly grasp this revelation, it transforms how you approach every sentence that passes through your lips. You begin to recognize that your vocal cords aren't just physical structures for communication. They're literally divine instruments through which creative force flows into manifestation. The same power that spoke galaxies into existence, that commanded light to pierce through primordial darkness, that established the immutable laws of physics governing our universe, is available to you in every moment through your conscious declaration. This isn't mystical exaggeration or spiritual metaphor. It's the actual mechanism through which reality operates. The journey from financial struggle to abundance often requires nothing more than reclaiming this creative authority that has been your birthright all along, but that most people unknowingly surrender through unconscious, limiting speech. Behind the scenes of what appears to be random economic forces or financial circumstances lies this fundamental truth. Your voice isn't just decoration or a way to communicate thoughts to others. It's a creative force of immense power that is constantly programming the matrix of creation. Every word you speak carries specific vibration, and every vibration issues precise instructions to the substance of the universe about what to manifest in your physical experience. The transformation happens when you recognize that these aren't just spiritual concepts, but practical tools that operate with mathematical precision in your daily life. Think about how sound actually works in the physical world. It creates waves that literally rearrange particles, that cause physical matter to reorganize itself in response to specific frequencies. This same principle operates at the quantum level of creation, where your spoken declarations are literally reorganizing the energetic substance from which all physical manifestation emerges. When you declare limitation, "I never have enough," or "money is so hard to come by," you're not just expressing a temporary disappointment. You're issuing vibrational instructions that the universe must follow with perfect obedience. The substance of creation doesn't judge whether your words serve your highest good. It simply responds to the frequency you're broadcasting by reorganizing itself to match that vibration. This revelation explains why certain individuals seem to create financial breakthroughs with such apparent ease, while others struggle despite tremendous effort. Those who have aligned their speech with prosperity, either consciously or intuitively, are literally programming a different reality than those who continue speaking limitation regardless of their intentions or desires. The impact of this understanding ripples through every conversation, every thought you voice, every casual comment you make about money. When you recognize that these aren't just sounds, but actual creative commands, you become incredibly intentional about the vibrational instructions you're sending through your daily dialogue with the universe. Now, I want to reveal exactly how your words are received in the invisible realm, the specific mechanism through which your declarations transform from vibration into tangible financial reality. Write in the comments, "My words create worlds," if you're beginning to recognize the tremendous creative force that flows through your voice with every declaration you make. Behind this entire process of manifestation lies a fundamental truth that transforms everything about how you understand creation. Behind every word you've ever spoken, whether conscious or casual, deliberate or unconscious, invisible forces have been responding and rearranging according to your precise vibrational instructions. This isn't happening sometimes or only when you're being particularly spiritual or intentional. It's happening with every single declaration that passes through your lips. The revelation that changes everything is recognizing that the universe doesn't filter your words through any kind of judgment system. It doesn't distinguish between positive and negative declarations, between what serves your highest good and what perpetuates limitation. It simply responds with perfect loyalty to whatever frequency you're broadcasting most consistently. This explains why traditional approaches to manifestation often fail to produce lasting results. Many people try to use positive affirmations for a few minutes each day while continuing to speak limitation, worry, and scarcity the rest of the time. They're essentially broadcasting mixed signals to the universe, then wondering why their reality reflects this same confusion. The substance of creation doesn't prioritize your conscious intentions over your habitual declarations. It responds to the overall frequency you're broadcasting consistently. The transformation happens when you recognize that the universe is literally a frequency-responsive mechanism. Just as a radio receiver picks up whatever station it's tuned to with perfect precision, your reality manifests exactly what you're broadcasting through your words and the feeling behind them. When you understand this principle, you begin approaching your daily speech with tremendous intentionality, recognizing that every casual comment about money is actually a creative instruction rather than an innocent observation. Behind the scenes of what appears to be random financial circumstances lies this hidden truth: your current prosperity level is the perfect reflection of the vibrational instructions you've been sending consistently over time. This isn't about blame or judgment. It's about reclaiming your power as a conscious creator rather than remaining a victim of seemingly external conditions. This revelation explains the secret behind why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance while others struggle despite working twice as hard. It's not about effort, education, credentials, connections, or even opportunity. It's about understanding that your voice literally programs your reality moment by moment, declaration by declaration, vibration by vibration. Those who experience consistent financial flow haven't been randomly selected for special treatment by the universe. They've simply discovered, either consciously or intuitively, how to broadcast the frequency that abundance naturally responds to. They've aligned their habitual speech patterns with prosperity rather than limitation, with certainty rather than doubt, with authority rather than anxiety. The journey from struggle to effortless attraction represents one of the most profound shifts you can experience in your relationship with money. Instead of pushing, forcing, and exhausting yourself, trying to make things happen through sheer determination, you begin creating your financial reality through aligned vibration that naturally magnetizes what you desire without the desperate chase that most people experience. Now, I want to reveal how to consciously transform your vibrational broadcast, how to stop accidentally programming limitation, and start deliberately commanding abundance through every word you speak. Write in the comments, "I'm tuning to abundance frequency," if you're ready to stop broadcasting the vibration of lack and start consistently sending the instructions that prosperity naturally responds to. This conscious transformation of your vibrational broadcast begins with a profound shift in how you approach your daily vocabulary. When you truly realize that your words aren't just casual sounds or innocent expressions, but actual creative commands being issued to the universe, you become incredibly intentional about every aspect of your spiritual vocabulary. This isn't about monitoring your speech from a place of fear or limitation. It's about recognizing the tremendous creative power you wield through every declaration. Most people unconsciously sabotage their prosperity through careless speech patterns they don't recognize as harmful. They casually throw around phrases like, "I can't afford that," or "money doesn't grow on trees," or "I'm always broke," without any awareness that these aren't just descriptions. They're literally programming instructions that the universe faithfully fulfills. When you understand that these casual statements are actually creative commands being issued to the substance of the universe, you approach your daily dialogue with reverence and tremendous responsibility. The transformation happens when you begin treating your words like the powerful creative tools they truly are. Just as a master craftsman approaches their instruments with care and precision, you begin approaching your vocabulary with conscious awareness of its manifestation power. You become vigilant about every statement you make regarding money, prosperity, and abundance, not from anxiety, but from recognition of your divine authority as a creator. Behind the scenes of this mindset, revolution is growing awareness of the direct connection between your daily dialogue and your financial circumstances. The revelation that changes everything is recognizing that you've been creating your current financial situation through spoken words without even realizing it. Your present experience of abundance or limitation isn't random, accidental, or happening to you. It's the direct manifestation of the vibrational instructions you've been sending consistently over time. Every complaint about money, every statement of limitation, every expression of financial fear has been a creative command that the universe has faithfully fulfilled through the perfect operation of spiritual law. This isn't about blame or regret. It's about the empowering recognition that if you've created your current circumstances through unconscious declaration, you can create new circumstances through conscious command. The journey from financial struggle to prosperity often requires nothing more than becoming aware of and deliberately changing the creative instructions you're sending through your words. Your breakthrough begins when you recognize that the same mechanism that has been manifesting limitation can be redirected to manifest abundance with the same perfect precision. This understanding completely transforms how you approach conversations about money, how you respond to financial challenges, and how you discuss your economic future. Instead of unconsciously reinforcing limitation through casual complaints, you begin deliberately programming abundance through aligned declaration. The same voice that has been creating struggle can create prosperity through this profound shift in awareness. Now, I want to reveal the exact sentence that can completely transform your financial reality, the specific vibrational key that unlocks the treasury of the universe and commands abundance to flow to you rather than forcing you to chase after it endlessly. Write in the comments, "I'm becoming conscious of my creative commands." If you're beginning to recognize how your financial reality has been shaped by the words you've been speaking all along. This hidden affirmation I've shared with you today isn't just another positive statement. It's a spiritual key that transforms your entire relationship with abundance. When you declare, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance," you're aligning yourself with the precise frequency that money naturally responds to. I share these principles because I've seen them work in countless lives, including my own. The transformation from chasing money to commanding it represents one of the most profound shifts you can make in your consciousness, moving from struggle and anxiety to divine certainty and magnetic attraction. If this message resonated with you, if you felt that inner knowing that you were meant to discover this understanding today, I'd love to hear from you. Simply write in the comments, "This message was meant for me," so I know we've connected on this journey together. And if you found value in what we've explored, tap that like button. It's a simple way to let me know that these teachings are landing in fertile ground, and it helps others who need this wisdom find their way here too. If you're ready to continue this journey of transformation with me, subscribe to this channel. This is where people come when they're ready to move beyond theory into real, demonstrable results in their relationship with abundance. I don't want you to miss a single revelation that could be the key to your financial breakthrough. There's a video right here that perfectly complements what we've discussed today. It's about the specific mindset shifts that accelerate manifestation and eliminate the waiting period between speaking your word and seeing your results. Click and continue with me over there because your transformation is just beginning.